What's going on? My name's Justin, and this is The Art of Repair. And today we're going to be looking at a little baby micro soldering hand tools kit that's going to help you get started much easier. So let's see what's in this kit today. What have we got going on here, Justin? First things first, we got ourselves a little pair of cutters. And you know, I tell you what, I know something about shops. I've been to a lot of shops in my time, and the one thing I see is, yeah, everybody's got cutters, but they're using them on everything. They even may have worked on their car with them. It doesn't matter what it is. And what that does is it gives you little micro breaks in the actual edge itself. And you need a pair that is specifically for micro soldering. You need something that's not going to be used on everything else, because what you're going to want to do sometimes is you're going to want to pick up your second pair of tweezers here, which is your ceramic inverse desoldering tweezers, and you're going to want to do things like this, where you take it and you cut the wick so that it's perfectly sharp and flat, so that you can clean up stuff on the board easier. The more sharp and perfect the edge of your wick is, the more precise you can clean up between bridges, so on and so forth. Let's actually take a look here. Like I said, this is the actual second one here, the inverse desoldering tweezers that we just picked up. And with these, the whole point is that you want to be able to brush the solder off the board with the hot air. And if you have a nice edge, see how great that edge is cut? You can come in between very, very small stuff. And if you have a bridge, you can just boop and pull it out. So we include these in there in this kit as well, right? So what else we got here? We got a couple other tweezers that we want to look at, right? So the next one is these 304 stainless level 2 tweezers. And you're thinking, Justin, you said micro soldering hand tools kit, right? Well, here's an uncomfortable truth, okay? Most people in their shops use their tweezers for everything, and they'll carry that same thought pattern into their micro soldering tweezers. Some of these tweezers can get pretty expensive. I actually picked some nice cheap ones so that you can get a good starter kit and not have to pay a whole bunch of money. But one day you're gonna want to get really, really nice stuff. And the truth is, they can be up to 30, 40 bucks. I've seen some over 100 bucks for nice ones, right? So what I've got for you here is the 304 stainless. It's kind of like a big old obtuse angle here, but let's take a look in the microscope for just a second. The whole point here is these are actually serrated, and they're strong as heck. So you can do all that dumb stuff that you do with the other tweezers with these guys right here, okay? So that's the point of these. These are also really good for reballing when you want to, hold down and do the thing, you know what I'm saying? And you're holding down the stencil and stuff. These are great for that, so I included them in the kit, okay? Now, that brings us to the two pairs we have right here, which are your just base, component manipulation tweezers. These do not have rounded edges or anything. They're very, very basic in design, but they'll get the job done. And if we head back over to the microscope for just a second here, we can kind of see, there we go. For the most part, these are going to get between whatever it is you need. Let's see if we can find some smaller stuff. Smaller, we're going here, smaller, no big deal. Same with these guys. I gave you two different shapes and sizes so that you can kind of fit your hand, right? Because some people like the straights, and some people, they really like using the curved stuff, right? So with this one, you can kind of come in from the side and grab some stuff. You can directly go over it and pick it up or something like that. You will notice that the tips on these are pretty consistent, not really too much bigger than the other ones or anything like that. So these are a good little starter kit, but they are on the cheaper side. But they'll definitely get your job done. Now, that's it for the tweezers. Let's actually get over here and look at some of the other things we have going on. So we have some blades, and we have something else on here. Okay, so let's talk about the blades first. We have included the most bare essential surgical blade handle. Okay, these surgical blade handles, they're from literally the healthcare industry, right? And the real key here is actually getting these blades. These surgical blades, are very, very sharp. And I genuinely, truly believe that every micro soldering job you do should have a brand new surgical blade so that you can get your work done appropriately, right? So we include that in there. You also would use this in the push method of cleaning underfill, right? Where you would pop, 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 pop. You see in that motion, hey, look what we got right here. What is going on with this? That's funny. Anyway, student boards, you know how it goes from the class. But like I said, you would use this for like a kind of pick and push method, where if you wanted to do the more, I would say half the people use kind of like a pull method. We've actually included the hooked blade, okay? We can see that a little bit here. It's like a hook. There we go, right there. And let's take a look in the microscope. So while the other one I was pushing forward, this one would be the one that you kind of pull back like this, right? And like I said, this is kind of like a two train of thought kind of thing where some people like to push, some people like to pull. That's why they're both in there. You kind of find your fit with that, right? Now, it does come with a third one on here, and this one kind of looks like a foot, right? If we take a look-see here, it's almost like a little shaving blade. That's what it is. It's meant to glide along the side or the surface and kind of shave off any kind of epoxy coatings, okay? So we've got all those in there, and you know, that really brings me over here. We've got to skip for just a second. We're gonna skip this guy for just 1 second. We're gonna come over here and we're gonna look at this. This is a PCB holder, okay? And a PCB holder helps you in specific situations. Personally, for me, I like to work on boards kind of like free floating for the most part, unless there's some real hard epoxy and I've got to kind of, you know, put a little bit of pressure on the board or something like that. These can help a lot. Genuinely, they just kind of fit most of the iPhones. I don't know if we can, there we go. It just fits most of the iPhones and stuff. It's a pretty cool little thing. We might, you know, we might replace it with a cool universal one if I find a better one later, but I feel like most people end up liking something like this when they first get started, so it's in there right now, right? But let us go now to the final thing here, and this final thing here actually has a different name than you think it does, okay? So we'll see here, we actually got a couple of them here. We've got these things, and they look like little feeler gauges. All it is some very, very, there we go, some very, very like thin metal, right? Let's see if we can, boom, boom. You almost can't even see it from the side until I turn it, right? There's all kinds of different shapes, and these would be considered BGA knives because they're generally used to come and get under, there we go. Ooh, we are out of focus. There we go. Generally, these are kind of used to get under an IC. You see what I'm saying? And kind of like pop it up when it's got some epoxies or underfill coatings or something like that. But listen here, listen good. These are actually called tension tools. I made that up. I'm calling them tension tools, and I think you should too, because these are actually used for all kinds of stuff, especially in your level 2 work. I'm telling you, just start experimenting. You can use a microscope and one of these to get under flex cables, all kind of stuff. You're going to love it. So with that, that does kind of cover everything that we have here in this little basic hand tools kit. And, you know, I'd say pick it up, try it out. You're going to find what you do and don't like and everything, but you're at least going to be put on a good path so that you can go down and complete your journey to the center of repair. Anyway, I will see you guys next time.